High-speed highway havoc, reckless red light runners, perfectly perilous pit maneuvers, and an absurd abundance of annoying alliterations. Buckle up for another excellently entertaining episode of Wham Bam Dashcam. This emitter had just finished up a night shift and was heading home when a car ahead of him lost control. Our submitter told us the roads were wet after recent rainfall. He stopped to check on the driver of the car, which was actually one of his coworkers. Another coworker behind them also pulled over to help. The driver of the Camaro called 911 while our submitter waved at other drivers to slow down. A doctor also pulled over to render aid while they waited for paramedics. Incredibly, the driver of the wrecked car wasn't seriously injured. Darian is a rideshare driver who was transporting a passenger one morning at 4 a.m. when the driver of a Chevy Impala ran a stop sign at full speed in front of him, and he had no chance to stop before slamming into it. Darian slammed on the brakes and honked, but there was just no way he could avoid a collision. Bystanders called 911 while Darian checked on the occupants of the Impala. When police arrived, Darian showed officers his dashcam footage and they immediately found the Impala driver at fault. Thankfully, nobody was severely injured in the wreck. Sadly, both the Impala and Darian's Lexus RX were totaled by the collision. Al was headed to work when he watched an impatient driver make an illegal left turn across the actual turn lane, right in front of a Gwinnett County police officer. The cop turned on his party lights and nearly got struck by another driver who wasn't aware of what was going on around them. Thankfully, it was only a close call and the officer was able to pull over the other driver. We're guessing the driver who made the illegal turn got a pretty stern talking to, if not a citation. Al told us that dashcams are an investment and that cameras don't lie. We agree. Check the description for our recommendations. Eddie was approaching an intersection when an oncoming driver ran the red light and T-boned a crossing car. After the Lincoln Continental was knocked off course, it rolled right past Eddie's Ford Edge, barely scraping it before hitting a Mazda. Eddie wanted to shout out his daughters Jessica and Jewel, who watch our videos with him and his wife Naomi. He told us he got a dashcam after watching Wham Bam videos. Paul was waiting for a red light back in my former neck of the woods when one of Spokane's typical drivers made a U-turn across an island. Paul said that, driving in Spokane, you're bound to see people who can't drive almost every day. I can definitely confirm that is true, and I don't miss it one bit. Stay safe, Paul. Courtney was on her way to work in heavy traffic when another driver pulled in front of her and she had to go off the road to avoid a collision. The other driver just kept right on going, likely oblivious to the situation they'd caused. Courtney told us our channel inspired her to get a dashcam just 2 weeks before this happened. Julie was taking her kids to after-school activities when she watched an impatient BMW driver make an illegal turn before getting T-boned by a minivan. Thankfully, the out-of-control BMW came to a halt without contacting Julie's Volkswagen Atlas. She told us her sons watch our videos all the time and told her she had to send us this video. Thanks, guys. Don was sitting in a parking lot eating a double cheeseburger when he watched a shopper leave his shopping cart for the cart demon to take control of. After the cart demon attacked the innocent victim, the shopper who'd enabled him apologized to the other driver. Even after that, he still left the cart in the middle of the lot instead of pushing it 50 feet to the cart corral. Don told us he finished his meal, then did his own shopping. He told us he put his cart away after, as everyone should do. The Smith fam was on their way home from a flea market when the driver of a pickup truck pulled out in front of them, and they had no chance to avoid hitting it. Our submitters immediately called the police, then filed an insurance claim the next day. Their insurance provider totaled their Toyota Highlander, and the pickup driver was found entirely responsible for causing the collision. Rob watched an oblivious driver roll through a red light, then slam on the brakes and barely avoid T-boning a crossing car. We have no idea why the other driver ran the red light, but it sure seems like they didn't mean to, they just weren't paying attention. What do you think happened? Post your theory in the comments. Our next video is a sobering reminder of why it is so important to adjust your driving during dangerous conditions. Even driving at the speed limit may not always be safe. Mike was driving down I-5 during a snowstorm when he saw brake lights ahead. When he tried to slow down, he immediately spun out before sliding down the highway. Miraculously, his Ford Focus didn't collide with any other vehicles, but he then had front row seats to multiple other collisions as drivers tried to stop. Remember, the speed limit is the maximum safe speed in ideal conditions. If the road is slick, visibility is low, or there is any other dangerous condition, it may be necessary to drive below the speed limit in the interest of safety. Eric captured our first Tesla behaving badly Cybertruck edition.
That Tesla man can't drive. That Tesla man can't drive.
Eric was going 40 miles per hour when he was passed by a speeding Cybertruck. But police up ahead were running a hidden speed trap, and the Cybertruck driver got a taste of instant justice. Avi was headed home to New Jersey after a funeral when an oncoming driver made an unprotected left turn, meaning he should have yielded to opposing traffic, across Avi's lane. Avi had no opportunity to avoid colliding with the SUV, spilling the Chinese food he just picked up all over the floor of his Hyundai Kona. He called 911 right away, then went to talk to the occupants of the SUV. That's when he discovered that the unlicensed and uninsured driver of the Nissan Pathfinder spoke almost no English, and they had to use a translation app to communicate. The driver immediately accused Avi of running a red light and speeding, but Avi told them he'd captured the whole incident on his dash cam. He told us that having the footage saved him a ton of headache with insurance. Thanks to his dash cam, Avi got a settlement check from his own insurance provider a week later after they totaled his Hyundai Kona. He told us he was very happy to have his dash cam. He also told us, "I especially love and appreciate the amount of info for each clip and backstory and aftermath which is included." Thanks, Avi. He also shouted out his wife Michelle for being supportive and loving. Danielle was headed home from work when another driver cut across 2 lanes and a gore point to reach an exit, the same exit Danielle was already in. Danielle was able to avoid being sideswiped by slamming on her brakes and honking, but the other driver clearly didn't learn anything from the experience. Seconds later, Danielle watched them run a red light. After this close call, Danielle and her husband John are both planning to invest in higher quality dash cams. And they're also planning to send us videos from their security cams for our other channel, Wham Bam Security Cam. Casey was driving down a Texas highway when the driver of a Chevy Equinox pit maneuvered herself off the front of Casey's Chevy Cruze. Casey told us that the driver of the Equinox immediately accused Casey of being responsible, even telling the police that Casey had been driving way too close to her and had hit her from behind. Once the officer watched Casey's dashcam footage, he dismissed everything the other driver had said, gave Casey the police report number, and let him leave. Casey thinks this may have been an attempted insurance scam. Mike was driving down the passing lane of a California highway when he witnessed a very strange road rage incident. Out of nowhere, he was passed by 2 speeding pickup trucks on either side of his Lexus GX 550. Mike told us he saw the pickups racing in his rearview mirror, and the white Ram 1500 nearly rear-ended him before passing him on the shoulder. The driver then brake-checked the green Ford F-150, which nearly lost control. After the green pickup sped around the white one, the driver of the white one pulled over and slammed on the brakes on the shoulder. Mike decided to call the California Highway Patrol's 24-hour non-emergency line. Despite multiple attempts, he told us nobody ever answered the phone. He also said the CHP does a terrible job keeping the highway safe, and drivers face little or no consequences for their dangerous driving. Philip was stopped at a red light when a wild Honda driver appeared behind him. Uh-oh. The driver of the Honda told Philip that he had dropped his cigarette and was trying to get it when he took his foot off the brake and rolled into the back of Philip's Hyundai Sonata. He also told Philip this damage would buff out. Intelligently, Philip decided to let his insurance provider make that determination, and he's now waiting for an estimate to repair the damage to his rear bumper cover. Jaron was on his way to work when the driver of a blue Prius didn't see him turn onto the road and nearly sideswiped his Nissan Altima. Jaron slammed on the brakes, swerved, and honked, narrowly avoiding a collision with the hapless hybrid. Thankfully, his Altima didn't hit the curb either, so it wasn't damaged. Gene was waiting in line at the dump when the driver of the pickup truck ahead of him pulled forward and stopped like he had many times already. Only this time, he didn't quite have his foot all the way on the brake pedal. The pickup rolled backward into Gene's Ford Maverick, and whatever that long, sharp pole sticking out of the bed was, it went right through Gene's radiator. The other driver immediately admitted fault. Repairing Gene's Maverick will cost $7,900 and take 10 days. And Gene is still waiting to see if the other driver will pay out of pocket or if he'll need to make an insurance claim. Jeremy was driving his brand new Cadillac Lyric when he watched an animal run across the road. Considering this animal likes to run on roads, I wonder what it might be called. We should really come up with a creative name for this road runner, don't you think? Put your suggestion in the comments, then watch this video for more bad pickup drivers. Or watch this video to see me react to bad drivers in video games. Seriously, Wham Bam Gamer Cam has a new format, so go check it out.
Wham Bam, we got a Patreon, man. Please support the show.